Hello. Happy Sunday. Welcome, Soul Healing Revolution, to the first of our 6-week series of Temple Chats. This is my husband, Edmundo. I don't know if he's ever been live in this group, but I have had him on my personal page. And we're gonna share with you some of our journey into creating our temple space. We're literally sitting inside of it right now as we speak.
Yeah, so I think today we're gonna focus on just sharing what happened in the last a month and a half, 2 months, and how this temple was built and what we went through and all the activations and lessons and all the medicine that came from building this temple. This is a long time coming. We've been talking about building this temple for 10, 15 years. I don't even know. But, and finally, we were like, okay, it's time. And so, yeah, we're unsure what we were getting ourselves into. But like Cara said, we've been saying lately, it's like, fuck around, find out. So we did.
Yes. We definitely fucked around and found out. And, we continually asked ourselves through this process, like, are we crazy? And the answer was like, yes, absolutely. We are fucking crazy. You have to be a little insane, a little delusional to do something like this.
Well, especially because, it's not the norm. It's not what people are doing, so to really step out of that really required for us to be able to hold ourselves through that and be like, no, we really believe in this. We really feel like there's something here for us. And I guess I'll start telling a little about the story about how this came about. But so I had started this project I don't even know, a year ago maybe.
Yeah. And
it just sat here. We were thinking about doing a eco-dome or doing just a regular structure, and nothing was we weren't connecting to that. And Cara went and got a massage. You can tell that part.
Well, yeah, we've been playing with all of these ideas, and nothing was like, yes, let's move. Yes, let's move. And I had even done a plant medicine journey by myself last year, and I was so strongly told that we needed to have the temple. And I was like, yes, I already knew that had already been coming through for both of us, actually. And it just solidified even more. And that was literally almost a year ago. And what we ended up doing was, so like you said, I went and had a massage, and at the end of my massage, this woman was like, okay, drop down into your Kiva now. One of your guides is standing guard outside of the door for you. And I was like, what's a Kiva? I didn't even know what it was. And it's an underground cave temple that some of the ancient tribes, the Hopi and there's a few others that used to use these spaces for ceremony. And I was like, okay, and I dropped down into it, I'm going into this trance vision or whatever. And then afterwards I went and looked up what a Kiva was. I started Googling Kiva. There wasn't that much information that I could really find, but I was I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's what the temple has to be. It's not above ground, it's underground, which made so much sense because we already work so much in the underworld. We, work with this earthy dragon energy, and I called Eddie right away, and I was like, babe, oh my God, the temple is supposed to be underground. And he was like, yes, that's it.
Yeah, it was quite the activation, and then I also went and researched what a Kiva was, and there, as I was learning about this underground temple, everything just makes sense.
Yeah.
All the dots just started connecting, and actually I had already started building the deck here where the Kiva is, because it was supposed to be above ground. I took out the footings, that's how bad, that's how potent the activation was. and I started building this Kiva. But then it just sat here for a little bit, and I wasn't like, I don't know, just I wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. And then I had this brilliant idea. I told Cara, I said, hey, listen, I think I'm ready. I think we're ready to start doing some like retreats. So how about this? How about you sell the retreat? You bring in the people, and I'll bring the temple. She's like, done. So within, I don't even know, days, she's like, yeah, I just saw a few spots for the retreat, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is real now. And so I started like working on it, and it became very apparent that it was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. And it's like all the doubt started coming in, and all the overwhelm. And as I'm building this thing, I just started excavating it. I was listening to an Aubrey Marcus podcast, and he mentioned temple consciousness, and that just hit me hard. I was like, temple consciousness, what is temple consciousness? And then I realized that that's exactly what we were trying to build. We wanted to build a place where we can come and practice that, being in temples, being in that space where you make everything sacred, and you create these beautiful containers where you can be all yourself and magic happens and all these things. And it was like, yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do right now. That's exactly what I want to do. And then from that point, it was like, let's go. Yeah. There's still a lot of activations. There was still a lot of freaking doubt, whatever. But it was like, okay, I kept coming back to that. Coming back to that feeling that I had gotten, when I heard the term temple consciousness. And it put a lot of pressure on our family, building this thing, because I was working like 10, 12-hour days. And I really felt the pressure of building this thing, but also like I refused to like go down victimhood or shit on it, like I was like, listen, if I'm gonna build this thing, I'm gonna put the best energy I can into this thing, and I'm gonna make it sacred, and I'm gonna have the reverence for it, and I stayed there. I stayed the whole entire time, and that really carried me. Yeah. And then yeah.
Well, and I just want to acknowledge that, like, even as he was like building this temple space, like he was like playing like shamanic music or like ecstatic dance music, or like he said, like listening to podcasts, like really like drop him into the energy of it, like even more fully and deeply, and allowing the energy to really like expand around it. And even like there were 3 other men who helped you build it.
Eventually, yeah, I realized I couldn't do it by myself, and I had to get help, and I did.
And even they brought such a reverence and sacredness and dedication to this space. And, the whole time while Eddie was building it, he was like, I'm building this for you. Like, I'm building this for you. And I think that that's really like a testament to what allowed this space to actually come to fruition into life. Is this year I declared that this was my year of receiving. And I remember last year, whenever I received that like very potent, like clear message of like every dragon needs her temple, and I understood that, and I was like, yes. But I also remembered feeling not yet worthy of receiving it. And it was, very deep layered. I didn't have like a full conscious awareness of it. But as we stepped into this year, I, had this intention, and all year that has been unfolding is this deep level of receiving. And I truly believe that, like, if it hadn't been for both of us, honestly, to open to receiving, that this would have never been able to actualize and materialize.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest lessons building this thing, because in the past we have had a hard time receiving. We feeling like we had to do it all by ourselves, and raising 5 kids and running multiple businesses and taking care of our property and all those things, right? And feeling that sense of like loneliness, overwhelm. And when we started building this thing, like people just started being like, hey, I want to be part of that. And we really had to open our heart, and really accept that help. And there was times where it was uncomfortable, but then we got pretty good at it,
Yeah.
And then more people just start coming in, you know, like just like say people that wanted to just help, be part of this. Like, hey, listen, you guys are doing this like thing that's gonna help other people, and so we want to support you guys so we can support others, you know. And that was beautiful. That like really showed us something totally different, you know, and how supported we really are. And it was just not just from like strangers, but like family members.
Yes.
You know, even our finances, you know, money just kept coming in, you know, and being and supporting this project because we spent a little money.
We'll have to talk, we'll do like a whole separate video on the financial aspect. Like, I feel like today's kind of an overview, and then we're gonna go deeper in each of the next each of the next chats, and you guys are welcome to ask questions, and we'll share like the nitty gritty like journey of this, because honestly we see more people building spaces like this. We want that for humanity and for the world, and if this can inspire you, or if this can show you the way, you know, we want that for you. You know, a lot of the women that we work with are already like kind of plotting and planning, and some of them have already created temples in their own home or in different ways, right? You can create temple anywhere. Your temple can be your bedroom, it can be your home, it can be your bank account, can be your temple, right? Like your marriage can be a temple, or your relationship can be your body.
Your body's definitely a temple.
Everything can be that temple, right? That temple space. And because all it is it's the
temple consciousness.
Bringing the temple consciousness, which is the sacredness, bringing the sacredness and the reverence in. And
you know, I've come to you know, make sense of this. It's like you know, you go to a gym to like work out your muscles. Well, you come to the temple to work on temple consciousness, bringing the sacred to the mundane and everyday life. You know, and you really come in here. As soon as you walk in here, you feel that. You feel like, okay, cool. Like, this is a sacred place. This is a place where, you know, we can be seen and we can be everything, and we can, you know, be grateful for all the medicine and all the opportunities that we have, even when it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, even when there's like pain and suffering and turmoil, you know, we can still be grateful for that. And that is just makes it so much better, makes it so much easier, you know, to navigate that healing, you know, journey.
Yeah, I think it's like he said, it was so challenging on our family, and we're not unfamiliar with doing challenging things. We're not unfamiliar with doing construction projects, right? Like, what was it, 2 years ago, he built the Temescal, the sweat lodge that we also have on our property. And we didn't have the awareness of the sacredness. We didn't have, this is like something I really wanted to touch on, and we can go deeper in another chat, but like, is how he and I worked together. Like, before we started this temple build, we were like, hey, listen, we're about to do something really hard. And we knew to have that conversation because we have done hard things in the past, and we didn't have that conversation ahead of time, or we didn't understand what it was going to ask of us. And we didn't understand, like he said, how to hold ourselves through the discomfort without projecting and blaming. And like he said, he uses the words like shitting on it, right? For me, it's like, without making it wrong, because we very easily, and not that there weren't like moments of like thoughts, fleeting thoughts and things of like wanting to do that, or things coming up, but like coming right back to remembering why we're doing this, what it's for. And I think you really held this part of it down, and it was really helpful for me, is like that this is just temporary, right? Like, if you're a parent, right? I remember the pediatrician telling us, like, you know, during those really hard phases, during the early years of parenting, and they were like, this part is just temporary. And that was the same thing as we were building this, that it was like 6 weeks of really intense, high level output. And it was just temporary, but also it showed us how much more we had to give, to be, to expand into, that how much more we could hold.
It really showed me and you, like, you know, we were really able to see ourselves through this project, like how much we can hold, and, you know, like how far we've come, and the communication and, you know, having those uncomfortable conversations and, you know, just even holding each other, you know. I mean, I can go on and on telling the list of shit that happened to me while I was building this thing.
Oh my gosh. I think you need to touch on some of those things.
I got pink eye, so I was working with one eye. I dislocated my ribs, so I couldn't even freaking breathe. You know, knee issues, neck issues, even my tooth started hurting. You know, all those things, and Cara was just like there, you know, helping me through it. You know, working on me, and not just Cara, but even other women that, you know, really I'm so grateful for, you know, that just stepped in and we're like, hey, I'll help you. Let me help you, you know.
Christy Church, Michelle Fleming, like we were all like Eddie's like body workers and healers.
Yeah, and me also holding Cara through this process, you know, just reminding her like, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. This, remember, like, let's not lose sight of this. You know, this is why the ultimate goal is, and this is why this is so important. And that was also beautiful. You know, really showed us how far we've come when it has come to that.
Yeah. And
how much, like I said, we can hold. You know, because we just said, hey, let's do this, and we're doing it.
And we actually did not fight with each other at all. Like, and in the past, it has been very much like, I would feel victimized by him or violated. I would be like, you went and did this thing and we didn't have a plan and I feel unsupported. And we just didn't do that this time. We did not go into that story. In fact, we just kind of opened to receiving even more. Like, I literally asked people to like come and help me with things. Like,
people volunteering, well, even without asking, they were just like, can we come help?
Amanda Godey, like literally never met her before, and she just saw one of our posts and was like, hey, I am available to come and help you. I love seeing what you're doing. She knew like my brother-in-law, and I was like, babe, what do you think about this? Like, I feel like I want to say yes to this woman. I don't even know her, but it just feels like a yes to me. And I said yes, and she literally came in fucking clutch. She made we did these poison path crowns for the retreat. She reorganized our bookshelves in our living room and made them look like magical decorative art. She helped me like fucking scrub my cabinets and baseboards, and she cleaned my living room like top to bottom, like fucking under the rug. And I mean, just went above and beyond. And she fucking emotionally supported me through some like really intense shit that came up. And I'm just like, wow, look at how fucking supported we are. Like,
our friend Dayla also, you know, she's a rock star.
Oh.
She helped us facilitate that weekend retreat, and just felt so supported by her. I mean,
she held it down. We'll have to do a whole other video on like all of the people who contributed.
Yeah. But that we didn't see it coming. We didn't realize that all the activations that we were going to be having, all the initiations of building this temple. And like I said, like a month and a half, 2 months now, I guess 2 months. It's been so much expansion.
Yeah.
In all kinds of different ways.
Yes.
So much medicine building this thing. And not to mention the retreat. The retreat was, I mean, a gift, you know. Mm-hmm. I know we were facilitating this for this beautiful woman, but what they showed us, you know, even I had a moment of like, holy shit, man, like this was all worth it. You know, when we were in this temple space and doing the work, and people are, you know, healing trauma, and they're releasing, and they're feeling, and they're liberating, all that. I was like, okay, all right. You know, we follow our calling, our intuition. You know, we answer the call. And that was amazing. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was all worth it.
I just got the chills. I feel like that's really probably the key message here is like, we answered the fucking call.
Yeah.
Like, the call came, and it took as long as it took, but we kept answering the call. And I think if there's like some, like, yes, come and experience temple consciousness, but before you can even do that, you have to answer the call. You know, you have to be able to say yes to yourself and trust, right? And just trust the guidance. Like, we have this saying that like, we walk in the dark, you know, and that's because we just really allow our intuition to guide us. We allow the divine to guide us. I started using a prayer last year, and it was like I surrender to you, and I give myself to you to work through me and show me the way, show me who you would have me be, show me what you would have me birth forth into this world. And I allowed myself to really open and be a channel to the divine in that way. And it was scary. I didn't know what it was going to entail. I've never, like 5 years ago, I would have never saw us being here in this place that we are right now. But it was just following one nudge after another, saying yes to each next step, you know? And it's led us here, and it's led us to these like beautiful fucking humans who are literally, I don't know if they fully understand, but they're like changing the world just being themselves. And to us, like deepening into temple consciousness. I know that like even like one of the men who came to help, you know, these stones were all like excavated and harvested from our property, and they had to be washed, right? And so like they were doing like the sacred reverent washing of each stone, right? And then it had to be, you know, placed into its, you know, perfect puzzled space, you know? And there was just so much intention, and like, you know, we have 5 children, we have a home, we have another business. Like I also was like launching a new program, the Erotic Mother, during the time of all of this, like just kind of happened at the same time. And it was a lot. It was a lot.
And the reason I guess we're decided to make these videos and share this is that, you know, it is possible, you know, for you to, you know, to be in that dark and follow your intuition and hold yourself through that, and that it's all definitely worth it, you know, and it's never done us wrong. So we've done this numerous times, and again, here we are again doing this, probably one of the biggest projects we've done.
It's the biggest.
And really pushed us, but man, it was worth it. It was worth it. Now, like we look forward to, like, you know, hosting more retreats here, and you know, more temple sessions, like plant medicine journeys, and all the above. And even like we started doing some shibari in here, which that's really cool. It's really nice. Mm-hmm. We'll probably what is it, really saying, the winter, we'll probably start offering that. Yeah. The shibari.
Yes. Yeah, we're in the trial phases of that, and just doing the prep and seeing how it's all going to play out and work, and before we bring it to the public. But yeah, and you know, what also happened during this, like the retreats from this past weekend. So we had our initiation retreat, and it was a priestess initiation into like the dragon priestess lineage, you know, and onto this like poison path of being the alchemical creatrix of your world. And it's like where you get to step into this completely new paradigm of never walking alone again, of receiving everything you desire, and taking the journey of receiving all parts of yourself is the access point to that. And really freeing ourselves from victim consciousness. But I would say even more so, what was shown to me was really liberating ourselves from the holy whore wound, the sacred prostitute wound, like from this like enslavement of our erotic sexual energy that's held so deeply in our collective unconscious. Like it's deep, and there's, you know, many layers to go through to access that. But in this space, there's just, we're in the earth, we're working with the Primordial Mother. She's here, she's surrounding us, and it's like in this space is like where you just get to like express your darkness. And the whole retreat is based on these multiple initiations. We go on this like 4-hour like wild woman hike. We go into, well, it's like a 4-hour Temescal experience, like a sweat lodge. And then we come in and we had, depending on the size of the group, this particular group took us like 5.5 hours of temple session. Next time I think we'll break it up into 2, like a morning session and an afternoon session, so we can have a little break. But
do you want to maybe share a little bit of like what happens in those sessions, the temple sessions?
Yeah, I feel like the temple sessions, they're like the pinnacle of the experience, and we do offer them privately, and then we offer them in this retreat as well, in a group experience. And it looks different for every single one of you. Like each of you will come in with your own intention and your own ask, you know, of what your soul needs from us. But essentially, we take you into like a very sensual, gentle massage, like a tantric style massage. And then at some point,
we also call it like a goddess worship.
Goddess worship. Yeah, it's very worshiping. It's like opening you to receiving. It's relaxing your nervous system. It feels good. It's to just, you know, all of these women represent the goddess. And so it's to worship your goddess and to be worshiped by the goddess is, I feel like, you know, and you become the goddess. Everyone's the goddess, and the goddess is moving through us all. And it's just very, very beautiful. And then at one point, Eddie will invite you and ask if he can hold you. And so he represents the masculine, and the masculine holds these women, the feminine, so that their protectors can just
breathe.
Like let go, take a break, you know, step aside for a period of time, and ideally experience like a whole new imprint, upgrade, blueprint, you know, of how they can move forward afterwards. And then I represent your feminine. And so once you've had your activation and experience with Edmundo, like just holding you into this space of safety and protection and provision, and maybe even working through forgiveness with the masculine, or anger, rage. I mean, it's whatever is there for you.
Yeah, every woman has a different ask, you know, but at the end of the day, I think my goal is for you to feel safe as I hold you, for you to be able to just kind of surrender and to let that go and be able to breathe, and honestly, like the space that I go into is a space of love. You know, full acceptance. It doesn't matter. Like I've heard women, you know, really express themselves and how they feel about men and masculine, and I still choose to love them and hold them in that way. And I think that that's like the medicine, you know, for these women to start just melting, you know, to just start relaxing, and from that space, you know, releasing and seeing a different way of doing things, you know, and then Cara, you know, guides them through.
Yeah, well, and I think also too, one of the really beautiful things is that we learn to trust the masculine in that experience. I know that's been my experience, and I've seen other women go through that as well. And, you know, we have such a distrust between the masculine and feminine, and right now I'm like using he and I as that representation, but this is actually happening within ourselves, right? So it has to happen within ourselves first before it can happen externally. And then I come in and I am just mirroring to them their feminine. Whatever they see in me is what they see in themselves, and they're just learning to love and accept that part of their feminine, their bigness. Maybe it's their darkness, maybe it's their eroticism, maybe it's their gentle, tender heart, their pureness. It's again, every woman has something different that is required for her own journey to liberation.
And I think ultimately that's what we do. I speak to your masculine, Cara speaks to your feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's really, really profound. It's definitely like we're in this like trance state, but like in the group experience for the retreat, it's like there's all of these people who are like witnessing and holding space for the experience, which just really amplified it. It really amplified it, and it also was so much more permission giving. I think a lot of people's concern is to be seen in like this intimate, vulnerable space, and that might feel constricting or like, ooh, I don't want to do that. But it's actually completely the opposite. It's so permission giving to be your full, whole self. And that's what we do in a temple session. We give you permission to be all of you. And
it's so much medicine for the group also, because then some of the women that were here wanted to also be of service to the experience, you know, to hold them, to speak to them, to guide them, to share. So then in that way they get to see themselves as the healer, you know, as a facilitator.
Yes.
Which is a lot of medicine also.
Yeah, that was really like one of my intentions going into the initiation, and I knew that coming into the temple session, the group temple session, was that it was going to be an opportunity for these women's gifts to come online and for them to get to utilize their power and see themselves and be given space to do so, right? Which is like, it's like us sharing the floor, right? Like it's like, oh no, not just us, and you can't be big or you're powerful. It's like, no, come be big and powerful with us, because you have medicine also. You have value also. Your gifts, you know, are like so valuable to these people, to us, and let's let them be seen. Let us see you, all of you, in your strength and your power and everything. And
yeah, and that's like the culture that we've been creating here in our space. That there is no like
hierarchy.
Yeah, no, you know, it's like everybody come here, like we're all have medicine for each other. You know, even though we're holding this container, everybody gets to play in it and play all kinds of different roles. You know? Like I put myself in the supporting the feminine, right? I'm of service to the feminine, and I love doing that because then the feminine gives me so much in return. And that's just like in every kind of aspect. So that's something that we really, really want to keep working on and expanding on that.
Yeah, and that's what it is, right? It was a birthing of your ancient healer, right? It was a birthing of your priestess, your dragon priestess, and stepping into that and being prepared to walk forth on that initiatory path. And we truly believe that in doing this work, that it will transform and ripple out into humanity. The more of us there are in the world, you know, bringing sacredness, bringing temple consciousness, living from our fullest expression, walking liberated and free on this earth, it unconsciously, as Marianne Williamson says, you know, your liberation gives others, like unconsciously gives others permission to also be free and liberated. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but there's a really beautiful quote and passage from A Return to Love that talks about that. And she talks about how it's like our power that we most fear. And it truly is. And that's what this experience is too, is it's an embodiment of your next level of power. Through the expression of your eros, we call it your darkness, but it's like basically taking your shadow and bringing it to the light, loving it and accepting it and bringing it back into wholeness, and utilizing that into power, into pleasure, into your purpose, into bliss, into receiving every fucking thing you desire.
Yeah, coming into the right relationship with your monster, we often say.
Yeah, and the monster for me really means like the dragon within us, right? Because the dragon is this mythical monster, right? And we fear it. We fear the power of this part of us because it is pure creation energy, and it's seductive, and it can, like, in not right relationship, it can be manipulative, it can be narcissistic, it can be, all of it can harm. And but that's what we're doing, is we're bringing it into right relationships so that we can really embody the fullness of this power and of our fullest expressions and all of our kinks and all of our just darkness, right? Like the playfulness and even our anger and our fierceness and all of that. But it can be from a place of purity, and it can be.
And sometimes it's so simple as just giving it a voice.
Yes.
A lot of people come to the sessions and the temazcal and the temples and all this, and they just never express their kings, their desires, their darkness, and then they're like, well, I want this. I want people to worship me, and just because you just said it, you're like, oh, okay, cool, I said it.
Take some charge off.
Yeah, and there's so many things, but that's something that we've definitely noticed. That sometimes all it takes is just for you to voice it. Yeah. Like, this is what I want. This is what my kink is. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And then we accept it. There's no judgment, and they're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And so we're actually going to be hosting another one of these retreats, the initiation. It's a 3-day retreat experience. And we're going to be hosting that. Again, it's here, like in our temple with our temazcal. I take you on a hike, and we have meals and food and lots of ceremony, lots of cacao, little blue lotus flower. And we're going to be doing that November 9th through 11th. And we've opened 6 spots. One's already taken. So we have 5 spots left. And we're just really, really fucking excited for it. Like, we learned so much on this first one, and now we can't wait. And the space is being coded. We've already done so much work in this temple. Every day we've been in here doing work on people, on ourselves. And it's just the space is getting coded and amplified, and the energy is becoming more and more potent. We've had mother-daughter sessions. We've done shibari. We've done your session.
Oh yeah. Private sessions.
Private dragon awakening sessions.
And then we have some come for next week.
Next week we have several booked already as well. Come in here and I meditate, I commune with the Primordial Mother here.
So for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be talking about this. Yeah. And maybe the last session or last live, we'll give a tour.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll give a tour of our space.
Yeah.
The temazcal. We have a pond outside with a water feature, and we have a fireplace and a fire pit, and then we have this underground temple and
like a grassy area.
Yeah. So we'll just give a tour of our space so you can kind of get a feel for it.
I like that. It's a good idea. Good idea, babe. Yeah, I like that. We'll do that. We'll give you guys a tour on the last one. Let's see. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, if you just want to come and check out what the fuck we're up to over here, you can book. So we actually have an upcoming temazcal on September 15th. So it's coming up quick. People do travel in from out of town for these experiences. They're $222 a person. We're still pretty open. We've got, and it's, I've been playing with the theme of it, but after our conversation today, I'm really feeling like I'm going to stick with it. And it's called Honor Your Temple. And it's really, again, about anchoring in a deeper sacredness to your body, to your home, to your bank account, to your relationship, to your sex, right? Sacred sexuality, and anything else that you want to apply sacredness to the mundane. that is really what we're going to be anchoring in this upcoming. It's just like make it all sacred as we honor our temple. And
we also have temple sessions.
We have temple sessions. So those are $333 if you book with just myself or with just Edmundo. But if you book one together for the two of us, it's $555, and we can explain the differences between all of those. Some people aren't ready to work with a man yet. We understand there's different levels of trauma and comfortability. So I offer individual temple sessions. Some people want to do more of that like divine union experience. And then some women just really need to do healing with the masculine. And so we have all three of those options available, and if you want to reach out, we can share with you those, the specifics and what your goals are and if it's a good fit for you. And then if you just are like, give me the whole thing, I'm ready to step in and like walk my priestess path, join us for the November initiation retreat. We would love to have you. It's just profound, transformational experience. It's something that when you leave, you will never be the same again.
Yeah, there's definitely a before and after this experience.
Yes. And I mean that in like your work begins to evolve, whether you work a 9-to-5 or whether you have a business. Your relationship with yourself, right? You're cultivating deeper self-love. You're cultivating boundaries. You're stripping away the martyrdom and the any of those like deep unconscious beliefs of violation. Really learning how to like set and hold and heal those, and you're coming into your full expression, feeling so comfortable in your skin and being yourself and asking for what you want and expressing your desires and opening your throat and your throat chakra and speaking your voice and your truth and learning how to receive. Learning how to receive is such a thing, I think, for all people. And within that is like returning to our sacredness and remembering how innately worthy we are and have always been. And there's like an innocence that comes back with that, and a purity that we remember within ourselves. And I don't mean like a virginal purity. That's not what I mean. Our essence is innately pure and not innately innocent. And, there's so much like heart healing, right? Where we can learn to like connect more deeply with others and become more vulnerable, and you're repatterning, like you're clearing ancestral, you're clearing past life, you're clearing karmic wounds. I mean, it goes all the way to the depths of whatever there is for you. And
you're remembering who you are.
Yes.
Most important.
It's a remembrance.
It's a remembrance, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back to you again. Yes, I return to you.
I think I really want to acknowledge that, like, when I first stepped into this temple space, the remembrance that I had was just beyond. Like, I was just like sobbing of tears of remembrance of like, oh my gosh, finally we have our sacred space to practice our magic again. And it was like an again, it's here again. And I felt that so deeply in every cell and fiber of my being.
Yeah.
And you'll feel it too.
Yeah, it feels so natural to be in the spaces. It's like we've always been here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We've always done it.
Yeah, we're just all remembering. We're all remembering. So, well, thank you so much.
I guess, what do you want to talk about next Sunday?
I don't know yet.
I want to talk about Temazcal.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, is that cool?
Whatever you want.
Well, the Temazcal is also a very, very powerful experience, so we haven't talked about it much, I feel like, but...
In a while.
Yeah,
it's been a little while.
So.
Yeah, because we up-leveled our Temazcal game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're ready for like a next level experience that will take you to your edge and beyond and really be an expander for you, thank you, Clara. You have a beautiful Sunday as well, Dragon Sister. The Temazcal is it's on another level.
Yeah.
It is on another level. We're real excited about it. So come join us. Come join us. Message me, reach out, let me know if, you know, like if you're interested in any of our upcoming offerings, or if you just like, you don't even know. If you want to just dip a toe in, you can step into the Erotic Mother. That's my online membership. But yeah, we're excited. Thank you so much for being here with us, and tell your friends. All right. Love you. Bye.